Yo, what is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the greatest combat sports and culture in the entire universe, the Fight Podcast. I am SERG, VICENTE, your host, and you guys see who is joining me today. It is a big card. So who else do we have with us? None other than my brother from another, the MMA fighter, Paul Capaldo. Paul, what is going on, brother?
What's going on, brother? I'm excited for this card, man.
Bro, this card's going to be nuts, man. It's a
Yeah.
good card. The first time they've had a pay-per-view in the UK in a minute, and man, they've been out there celebrating Rocky Edwards. Did you happen to see the press conference today? I know
No,
you
I
were
saw.
training. My man's out here actually fighting people, so you forgive him. He's getting it in.
I haven't had time. I'm gonna watch it tonight. I was watching today the NCAAs. They have the national tournament going on.
Yeah.
Me and a couple of my friends were doing like a big fantasy league with it. And it's cool, man. It's cool, and I love watching the tournament, man. It's like March Madness to me. They call it March Madness, but
Yeah.
dude, it's crazy. So they're starting right now. So right after we're done with this, man, I'm gonna be watching them, and yeah, rooting for Penn State. A couple of guys from Rutgers and stuff, and yeah, man.
That's what's up. That's gonna be dope, man. I haven't last year I watched it, so maybe this year I might have to jump into it. Check it out a little bit myself.
Bro,
You see some really quality athletes there, man.
It's high level wrestling, man.
Yeah.
RBY, Roman Bravo Young from Penn State. He's fucking nasty. I think he's going for his third national title.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's very good. It's very hard to do too. People don't realize that.
Last year, DC was one of the commentators, right?
Yeah, it was awesome. Hopefully he's there this year.
Well, yeah, hell yeah. Hopefully after this weekend he flies back because he was great. He makes watching wrestling to me so fucking interesting.
Yeah, I like DC on the mic with wrestling better than the fights. Because sometimes with fights, like he gets a little jammed up with stuff. There's a lot of information and stuff like he had that beef with Cruz where they were calling each other out. But wrestling, he always knows his stuff. Like he was an Olympian. And I think it's a good gateway to having commentary for big wrestling matches, and I would love to do that.
Dude, that'd be great. Hell yeah.
Yeah, man, just to grow wrestling and just to be able to talk about it and freaking, for these huge matches that are going on.
And the thing about it, man, there's such a place for it now. You have, especially with, grappling, how big it's gotten. People are actually just watching grappling. You're watching one championship having legitimate grappling events. You're seeing some of these big names, the Bo Nichols and them coming out of wrestling and going into MMA. There's such a place for it now that people are actually interested in watching it. So if you actually have somebody like a DC, like yourself, that really understands the sport and it can make it entertaining, it's only a matter of time till more and more people are paying attention to it. So if you guys haven't already, you need to check out the NCAAs. Last year I did get a chance to watch it and it was fucking amazing. Yeah. So if you can watch it this year, man, some of them, and granted, like I was able to watch like a lot of like Gable Stevenson's matches, right?
Yeah,
like,
he's very
watching
good.
Dude go out there, like dude is a gorilla, like I wish I was able, like I selfishly, I want him to go to MMA, but financially, you better take your ass to WWE. I get it.
Yeah, of course. Take the money and run, man.
Take it and run, man. But look, check it out. This weekend, we got a fight. We got some great fights. Huge event. Not only do we have the former champion Kamaru Usman going out there, the current champion, Mr. Headshot Dead himself. By the way, that is what the crowd, every time Usman went up there on stage to say something, the crowd started chanting "Headshot Dead, Headshot Dead." It was savage. Loved every second of it. Love the UK fans. Oh man. Well, it's funny because I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember how he was saying leading up to the fight that he'll have more fans than Leon? He was like, people here in the UK don't even like Leon. The moment that Leon goes out there, crowd went nuts. Every time that dude, it was to the point that Usman had to go out there and legitimately like ask, like, what did they? He could never hear the questions because they were booing him so loud and like chanting "Headshot Dead." It was a live thing. I'm curious how that's going to go into it, but you know what? The card itself is a fun card. Not the deepest card. Last card was a much deeper card. It is top heavy, but we are going to go ahead today, guys, focused on the main card itself. We'll mention a couple other ones that we want you guys to pay attention to. But Paul, bro, Main event, it's a trilogy. We rarely get solid trilogies in MMA, especially when it comes to like title fights in this manner. Yes, we have Figgy and Moreno, but now we're having guys at a bigger weight class. Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman. Leon Edwards is still the underdog. He is a plus 210 to Kamaru Usman's minus 260. Is that a little disrespectful to the champ?
I think so, but also, man, I think that it definitely is, because he did finish him. And Usman, I mean, I don't know if like Usman's been. I think Usman got submitted, right? That's the only one loss he had, but then everything
the only
else,
loss, yeah, it was to Alex Caceres' brother.
Yeah. So, but you know, he's a tough guy to finish. But with that being said, Usman was winning that whole fight. I mean, listen, Edwards got a good takedown on him, right?
Yeah.
Which surprised me. But I think Usman was just dominating the fight. He was yeah. He like fell back on his knees really weird. I remember seeing it, and then he said it after the fight. But I think Usman's going to run away with it, to be honest with you. Because you want to know what? If I'm Kamaru Usman, I'm going to say, okay, I got comfortable. I had a minute left and I got knocked out. I'm just going to take him down the whole time, gas him out, kind of like what Merab did. Because Usman could do that, man.
I can see that.
And I can see that. And he's been he like earlier in his career, he used to do that to everyone. He would just take them down, grind them out. And as of recent, he kind of got into the striking more because he's been having success. So
true.
You know who I'm going with.
Well, that's good. I'm cool with that, because I do want to ask and to bring up a couple different things with that one. Leon Edwards' last fight said that the biggest reason for him to start kind of gassing out in the way that he did was because of the elevation. He's not accustomed to the elevation. He trains at sea level. This fight is going to be at sea level. He said that was the worst performance of his career until the knockout. He was like, that was my worst performance ever, and I still was able to knock you out. Do you think that there's anything that goes into the elevation factor with this matchup?
Nah, I mean, just because it looked, and I like Leon Edwards too, so I'm not hating on him, but it looked like he was quitting on the stool almost, or like, you know what I mean? It looked like Usman was breaking him mentally, and that's what everyone was saying. Rogan was saying it. Everyone was saying it. You could see the expression on his face. He was looking down. So just with seeing that, I think Usman is going to learn from his mistakes, and he's not going to stay at that kicking range. It's going to be either in or out. Yeah. Always keeping your hands up. Like you rather take a body shot than a head, kick to the head or a kick to the body.
No shit. Head. Well, let me ask you this, and that's a great point, man, because I hear what you're saying with this one. Only thing I'm pushing back is this. I have always been somebody that said when people get knocked out viciously, right, where they're stiffened up, eyes roll back, I always say that I think they need at least a year off. This fight is happening just about at 6 months, 5.5 months afterwards. Do you think going in there against the exact same guy is, unless he goes in there and just comes in with his singlet on, unless he does that, do you think that if he stands and strikes with Leon, it can be a legitimate problem? Yeah, for sure. I think that would be a bad idea. And it could be, you know what I mean? Because it's like you're probably afraid of getting hit at that point. You know what I mean? You're going to be a little cautious until you've gotten hit a couple of times. But I think with that being said, I think once he gets those takedowns, Usman, he's going to get more comfortable in the fight. He's going to just gas him, make him tired, and grind out the win. I think it'll be by decision. But Usman's I'm with
champ.
you. Yeah, I'm with you. The more I think about it, and man, I love Leon Edwards. I love Rocky. I love his story. I absolutely, because I was one of those people championing him the whole time, like leading up to the match. I was like, he should have gotten a shot. He's deserving. He's beaten everybody else. And then seeing him perform in the first round, I'm like, oh shit, he is who I thought he was, right? And then all of a sudden, obviously, Usman starts coming downhill. Couple things that I'm looking out for in this fight. I personally think that Usman, I think his chin is a little shaky. And not just because of the headshot. I think if we go down, we look at it, he got hurt by Colby. He got hurt by Masvidal. He definitely got hurt by Gilbert Burns. So when we're looking at it, if he lets you get hit and he, entertains the striking, he can absolutely get finished, right? Both of these guys, though, Leon Edwards, on the other hand, is extremely durable. He's never been put down. People were cheering when he got rocked by Nate, but kind of did the exact same thing that, kind of took his foot off the gas a little bit and paid for it. Leon is somebody whom I've seen. He's one of those guys that it's almost like he's so good, but he almost needs to get like convinced to turn it on, right? You don't always see him go out. He doesn't have, like, some guys go out there and they're just dogs. I mean, we're talking about the co-main event with Justin Gaethje and Rafael FIZIEV, dogs, right? They go out there no matter what, and they're trying to put you out. Conor McGregor in the first 7 minutes of a fight, dog. He's going to come out there and try to get you. Leon Edwards is such a technical striker. He kind of like takes his time, right? Doesn't have a bunch of volume or anything like that. Dude kind of just picks you apart. So if he gets behind in a fight, he kind of needs that knockout. Granted, he does have an 8-second knockout in the UFC, which I believe it was his second fight, but he rarely, comes out and fights in that manner. You already said your winner. You think Usman's going to win by decision. I have been leaning Usman all week, and I think I've been telling people I think I Usman by decision. But if you are betting minus 260, man, that might be a good bet for the underdog, man. If he goes out there and we believe, because Leon Edwards this week, and I don't know if you've seen it, man, Paul, let me know if you've seen it. When people eventually get that belt and become champions, there's a different swagger about him and a different confidence. Yeah. And Leon sounds different than I've ever heard him sound. He seems like he knows something that we don't. So because of that, I don't even want to do this, but I am. I'm going with Leon Edwards. I'm going with a champion. In his hometown, nice. He's never lost in the UK. He has 4 professional fights, a whole bunch of amateur fights. He's never lost in the UK. He is in there. He's finally earned his position. I'm rocking with Rocky.
Hell yeah.
I got to. I don't know why. Something deep down in my gut tells me that Rocky might get this and might be able to pull this out. And people, listen. Everything that Paul said is on the money. In terms of the wrestling, the pressure, how he was breaking them. Like, I totally understand that. And I totally see that. But I don't know, man. It's a fight. Sometimes you just feel some shit. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I can't wait. I will say this. Who is a better dresser, Kamaru Usman or Leon Edwards?
Ooh, that's tough. Probably Usman.
They both
dress really nice. They both dress really nice. Trying to think. I think I saw Usman. It's like a picture of him and Ngannou and maybe someone else, but he was wearing a fresh suit, or it was like because Usman wears all like the African stuff. I like that shit.
Yeah.
It's
that
cool,
shit's
man.
hard, bro. I want to start busting out that African shit just because, cool. Man, it looks so good. Make me feel like I'm in Wakanda. Let's do this.
Yeah,
shit.
Bro.
I love that, man. Real quick before you transition to this one, Leon Edwards, not Leon. Kamaru Usman went out there and has also said, and people on his camp are saying, his knees are so bad he can't even do road work. Right? Yeah, he can't do road work. He's even saying that he and Justin Gaethje both said they got like 2 fights left. The other reason I'm picking Leon Edwards is that when guys are already looking at the end, in my opinion, you might as well just leave because you're not fully in it anymore. So that is another reason why. Do you think that there's anything there, or am I just overstating it?
No, I agree. I think with Usman, like his knees are bad, but I think they've always been bad with wrestling and stuff.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
But I do think in some cases, yes, I think Usman's definitely towards the later part or the end of his career. So it's gonna be interesting to see his motivation, coming in after being the champ for so long, and now he's the challenger.
I'm curious.
So we'll see.
We haven't seen him as a challenger in a long time. It's been a minute.
Yeah, man.
Since he ragdoll T-Wood. All right. Moving on to the next one. This is a lightweight bout. 2 of the most entertaining men in all of combat sports. We are talking about the human highlight, Justin Gaethje, self-proclaimed most entertaining fighter of all time, against Rafael FIZIEV. Number 6, versus number 3. Justin Gaethje is a +195. FIZIEV is a -230. Are you surprised that FIZIEV is the favorite in this matchup?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, with Gaethje's experience, yeah, Gaethje's a scrapper, and we've seen that in a lot of it in all of his fights. He's always down to brawl, and he always he could deal with adversity pretty well, and he's got a lot of accolades. So I'm surprised, but I think it's because Gaethje always chooses to stand up and not use his wrestling, and FIZIEV comes from Tiger Muay Thai, and that's
he's
his
legitimately the teacher at Tiger Muay Thai.
Yeah, exactly. And I saw a thing today. It said FIZIEV has 200 plus amateur fights. Gaethje has over 200 plus wrestling matches, which is obvious. He probably has 1,000. But I think when it comes to standing up, that'll make the difference, But when it comes to the wrestling, it makes the difference for Gaethje. So,
FIZIEV is a Sambo black belt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which
and he has a 97% takedown defense.
Okay. Has he fought any like wrestling based styles?
I know let me just pull it up. RDA obviously is, and RDA, the older he's got in his career, he's been a grapple heavy fighter. If we're looking at RDA, let me just pull this up really fast. Let me see who else he's been in there with. Because he is, I mean, if we're looking at it, I mean, he's an absolute savage.
Yeah.
While I pull this up, what do you think for Justin Gaethje, aside from you were talking about his wrestling already while I pulled this up, what is Justin Gaethje's best plan of action in order to win this fight?
Strike, move, go for the takedowns, strike, move, like use his wrestling to set up his strikes, right? And strikes into takedowns. Don't get into the clinch with him. Everyone in Tiger Muay Thai is really good with the clinch. So watch the over-unders on the breaks. Watch him throwing an elbow. That's a big thing that I noticed because I study like everyone. So I know on the break, they're very big with throwing elbows off the break or something like that. So, I mean, just stick it down to just strikes to takedowns. And that's how you'll gas him out. Make him kind of, so in wrestling, they call it Iowa style, right? It's wearing on the guy and making the guy tired, snapping him down, being heavy on his head. Get FIZIEV tired. He'll make some mistakes. I could see Gaethje submitting him.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, you crazy as hell. Look,
I know. That's a bold call. I know.
Look, okay. So I'm gonna say this. Look, people, I love Justin Gaethje. I think Justin Gaethje is one of the most entertaining fighters in the world. Justin Gaethje about to get his ass whooped. And the reason I say that is this. Plain and simple, Justin Gaethje, one, I don't think has a very high fight IQ. I hate to say it because he doesn't, again, he has wrestling. He doesn't choose to utilize it. If you were in that way, I think your fight IQ is ass. And then you go out there as well. If we're looking at it, he is a good striker. He has extremely heavy hands. He's fantastic in the clinch. He uses a great uppercut while he's in the clinch. He also has one of the hardest leg kicks in the game. I'm giving him all that, right? He's great at that. But also, if we're looking at it, he is not a technically sound fighter. Now, if we go down the list and we look at his losses, remember, Justin Gaethje is only 6-4 in the UFC. He was 17-0 when he came to the UFC. He's 6-4 in it. Everybody who is technical in there, he's been in the fights with, but he's lost. We go down the list of them. Dustin Poirier, Eddie Alvarez, Khabib, and Charles Oliveira, right? We're looking at upper echelon guys, but we're also looking at guys who are all extremely technical in what they do. There might not be a more technical striker if we're looking at the straight stand-up as like a Charles Oliveira, especially with his 1-2s, right? So we look at Justin Gaethje in that realm. Obviously, I look at the people that he has beaten in the UFC. When I look at it, I'm like, the people that he's beaten really aren't that nice. None of them are even still in the UFC. You know what I'm saying? We're looking at it, we're looking at it in that capacity. So I really believe, and I hate to say this, we're looking at a 34-year-old guy at lightweight. We already know we're starting to get to that age at that weight class. When guys are coming down, especially with all the wear and tear. And he's another guy, like we talked about at the beginning, that is saying, I only got 2 whatever fights left. FIZIEV over here talking about, I got to feed my kids.
Yeah, that's a good point.
When you have that type of mindset coming in there, look, I don't think he's technical enough. Listen to this. The people that Justin Gaethje has beaten in the UFC, I'll pull this up for us right now. He beat Michael Johnson in his UFC debut, right?
Mm-hmm.
He ended up beating, not only did he beat Michael Johnson, he beat James Vick. We know what's going on with James Vick, right? He beat Cowboy Cerrone, right?
Yeah.
I'll give him Michael Chandler, but let's not sit here and pretend Michael Chandler is the same Michael Chandler that beat Eddie Alvarez back in the day. He's not. He's there for show, right? And those are the guys that, you know, he has beaten in this. And honestly, which one of those guys are upper echelon or in their primes? Now, on the other side, let's talk about who FIZIEV is beaten. I'm not saying that all of them are world beaters, but let's go down the list. RDA, right?
Mm-hmm.
RDA is still RDA, and he is still fighting the best guys in the world. Bobby Green, I don't care what you say. Bobby Green is still a hard guy to put out. Rafael Assunção, not Assunção, I'm sorry. Moicano. Moicano is another one. Moicano is a monster, and he knocked Moicano out also. And I'm talking about, and these are all dudes that he ended up finishing in the first, like finishing in their fights. When I put all those things together, if Justin Gaethje isn't going to do what we talked about him doing and wrestle, man, I don't think he has any options. You mean he's going to sit there and strike with a striker that has over 200 professional, not even amateur fights. He has 200 professional fights on his resume. I think he does anything he wants to do to Justin Gaethje. I don't see this fight getting out of the second round.
I like that.
I like Justin. People say I'm hating on Justin. I think Justin is dope, but Justin isn't who he used to be, man. And I'd have never thought that Justin was that upper echelon guy. I didn't.
Yeah, he was always like kind of like the gatekeeper. Dude, I'm going with Gaethje by submission. For some reason, I just thought about it. I wonder what the odds on that are too.
For submission, I have no idea. Man, you
probably crazy, right?
Gaggle a crash if he wins by submission. Let me look at this up real quick. Let's see what his I'm curious to check this out. For Justin Gaethje people. And let's see how many submissions he has per here. I'm just pulling up stat-wise for him. So takedown accuracy, submission strikes, targeted by method. Man, they don't even have any submission or grappling stats in here for him because he never uses it. Okay, submission average per 15 minutes, 0.00 submissions. Takedowns per 15 minutes, 0.00 takedowns per 15 minutes. Wow. I don't see that happening, my brother. I don't.
Wow. Yeah, it might be too bold to say.
Yeah, man.
We'll see.
If he happens to, but then that's the thing too, right? You got a dude who hasn't done it in a while. If you go out there, and you know how it is, if you don't practice it or work on it, it's not going to be there for you like it used to be.
Of course.
I don't care if, during the embeddeds, I see him rolling around with Kamaru Usman and stuff like that. That's all good and well. You guys told us they didn't work out together halfway through their training camps. So it's not like he was wrestling the whole time. And I think if you're going out there and you're going to try to fight fire with somebody who is bread and butter is that fire, you're a good MMA striker. I just think it's a bad idea. I think he's going to present his chin. He's going to present his chin to him like it's Christmas time.
Yes, sir. We'll see. I could definitely see that happening. I could definitely see, Gaethje falls in love with the striking and the calf kicks. Might be a long night.
Oh, now here's the thing. Interesting thing, right? Both of them actually throw a lot of strikes. I'll give them that, even though I froze right now. Both of them actually throw a bunch, but listen to this: strikes landed per minute. Justin Gaethje throws 7.46 strikes landed per minute. Here's the crazy thing about that: he absorbs 7.9 strikes per minute.
That's horrible.
So he legitimately,
damn.
And so he literally absorbs almost a whole more strike per minute. He just hits so hard. On the other side, FIZIEV he throws a lot. He lands 4.81 strikes per minute.
Wow.
But he also absorbs 4.8 strikes per minute as well. So they both get hit. So being that they both get hit, that is where Justin Gaethje's, I think he's going to be able to get, if he can land something, he hits hard enough that he can put anybody down. And I acknowledge that. In 4-ounce gloves, you already know. Don't nobody got a chin with 4-ounce gloves.
Yeah.
But we're just, if we're looking at like percentages and chances, I just see it going down and down. It just makes, for me, it's, unless my man comes out and ends up being Cael Sanderson, I don't see my man going out there and beating him in any way. Unless he goes straight singlet on, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, yeah, I know, man. Me either.
Hey, man, see, that's what I'm talking about. I'm getting my man after his pick to kind of veer a little bit.
I said before too. I was like, I could see FIZIEV just dominating him too. So we'll see. What I think FIZIEV is gonna, end up outstriking him. For some reason, I could see Gaethje picking him off with a big punch, but I also don't. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, look, the only reason that at first I was like, oh, well, Gaethje can do this, but when I looked at who he's faced, Gaethje has never done that to another elite fighter. He hasn't. Because again, I'm sorry, Michael Chandler is not elite anymore. He's good. He's very good. He's on the back nine, and we know it. He's just out here doing entertaining fights. He's not trying to, and he fought that fight against Justin like a caveman. He just went out there and wasn't he did, and that's another one. All-American wrestler. I don't feel like using my wrestling anymore. Let's just stand and bang. So if he has that same fight and that same game plan where, yeah, he looked great against, Michael Chandler, we're not going to sit here and pretend that Michael Chandler is the same type of striker that Rafael FIZIEV is.
Oh, no way, no.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where I look at it. On his resume, he literally has nobody that's an elite fight. He's never beaten any other elite fighter. He hasn't. Sorry. I love Justin. I'm sorry, Justin. I know Justin fans and stands are going to look at me like I'm crazy. I'm stating the facts, people.
I was going to say, you're stating the facts.
And I can't do nothing about it. All right. Moving right along. I think but that also has the possibility to be the fight of the night, people. That can be an all-out war. And it's going to really be that's the as they say, the people's main event.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Definitely people's main event. All right. Transitioning on, this one could also be the people's main event type of matchup. We have the SBG Gunnar Nelson is back. Gunnar Nelson is a -380 favorite against Bryan Barberena. Before we went on, you said something about this fight. I want you to break this one down, man, because Bryan Barberena, 18-9. Dude is nasty. 11 of his wins are by knockout. He goes in there to fight. You know what I'm saying? And Gunnar Nelson, 60% takedown accuracy, 60% striking accuracy. 4 of his wins are via KO. 12 of his wins are via submission. Gunnar Nelson did win his last fight. Bryan Barberena lost his last fight, but Gunnar Nelson has only fought once in the last 3 years. Paul, when you look at this fight, man, how do you kind of break this one down?
Yeah, I had Bryan Barberena winning because Gunnar Nelson usually likes to strike. I think Barberena's could catch him. I've seen Barberena. That's how you say his last name, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
I watched him fight live in Jersey one time, and he knocked the guy out. So I like him. I forgot who he fought, or maybe he was fighting Sage Northcutt.
You know what? That might have been a fight. I think that was in here. I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, Prudential.
There you go. All right. Did I get you up? Oh, yeah. As I'll pull that up. But yeah, I think that was Prudential Center. That was Sage Northcutt. He did knock him the fuck out.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. So I think the inactivity for Nelson's going to work against him, and it would be nice to see Nelson when he's a veteran. But I have Bryan Barberena winning that.
Yeah. Wow, dude, Bryan Barberena fought Leon Edwards.
He's tough, man. He's fought some tough guys. His record, don't let his record fool you.
No, not at all. I mean, dude, if we go down the list of his record, just listen to this, people. He's faced, Worley Alvarez is not an easy fight. Sage Northcutt, that was the fight you were talking about. Yeah, and that's exactly where it was. Sage Northcutt. He's fought Colby Covington, Leon Edwards, Jake Ellenberger, Vicente Luque, Randy Brown.
Yeah.
Who else? Mike Brown, or should I say Matt Brown, Robbie Lawler, Rafael dos Anjos.
Wow.
I mean, he has fought some of the who's who in MMA, man. Salute to Brian Barberena. I mean, he just being a tough SOB. I mean, tough as hell.
Yeah, he is tough, man. And with that comes experience. I think he'll yeah, what do you think?
Oof, man. You know what? Man, you brought up some great points. And honestly, and we were talking about this earlier, the lack of activity for Gunnar Nelson makes me a little nervous. He's somebody that isn't as active. He will strike with you. He has that karate style, Conor McGregor-esque looking style with it, and he's nasty on the ground. If he can get Brian Barberena down and control him, which Brian has been submitted, and Brian can get taken down, and this one, look, -3 I think is ridiculous. If you're going to actually place a bet, I know I talked about the main event. This is Brian Barberena is a +310. Guys, if we're looking at, the lack of activity, the power of Brian Barberena, the scrambling ability of Brian Barberena.
Yeah, it's perfect.
I think this might be the pick to click. Because of that, I'm rocking with Brian in this matchup.
Let's go.
Let's go, Brian. Yeah, man. Because granted, this is a hometown-esque matchup for Gunnar Nelson. He has fans there. He's from, I believe, Norway, trains in Ireland. People fuck with him out there. We totally understand. But one thing I have to say, when I really do look at it, this is a perfect type of fight for Brian Barberena. Brian Barberena coming off of a loss, obviously fighting some tough guys, but he's been in there with, honestly, the more experienced fighters. I'm rocking with Brian in this one. Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah, that's a good one. All right. Also in this fight, we don't got to talk about this. This one's another, hometown favorite. Casey O'Neill, the undefeated Casey O'Neill, is fighting the former title challenger. This is a flyweight matchup for the ladies. Jennifer Maia, Casey O'Neill. Number 12, Casey O'Neill against number 8, Jennifer Maia. I'll be honest with you. Casey O'Neill is a -175 favorite. I'm rocking with her in this one. I am. I think that she has some momentum. I think that, dude, listen to this. She lands 8.65 strikes per minute.
Wow.
That's how many. Think of the volume that is. She throws so much volume. She only absorbs 4.68. She's from the UK, hometown. I'm rocking with her. I think Casey O'Neill gets a dub this time. I don't see Jennifer Maia. She's only on a 2-fight winning streak, but she isn't fighting anybody. After she got thumped by Valentina, she isn't doing anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Casey too. I don't know too much about her, but Maya's been in the game for a while. She's kind of getting a little older now, man. Yeah. I'm gonna go with O'Neill.
Yeah, Casey's a dog, man. Casey's a dog. She's a lot of fun to watch. She has a little bit of time to go. She's not nowhere near a finished product. Do I see her at the top of the division within the next year? I can definitely see her there within the next year. Give her 2 to 3 wins. She could be in the conversation for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm rocking with Casey O'Neill. How do you see her win? You know what? I think I'm gonna say unanimous decision. Jennifer
I was gonna say that too.
Finish. Yeah, I think she's
Maya's tough, man.
Yeah. I didn't want to just blatantly disrespect her like that. No, she's tough as hell.
Give her
so
a little.
I love saying people won't get finished. I do.
Yeah.
I'll be like, that one's going to get knocked out. No, it's not going to happen.
Going to sleep.
Talking about a fight that somebody might possibly go to sleep, because this dude has a 3-knockout winning. Well, he has 5-fight winning streak. 4-fight winning streak. 3 of those wins are via knockout. Roman Dolidze is fighting I hate to say it, kind of a journeyman at this point in time in Marvin Vettori. He not even a journeyman. He's a gatekeeper at this point in time. He's one of those guys, if you can get past him, you can get a title shot, right? And the thing, and I want to get your point of view on Marvin Vettori. Marvin Vettori is a guy whom, if we look at his losses in the UFC, he lost to one guy when he first got in. That doesn't even matter. It happens. Actually, it was a Shoeface. He lost to Shoeface, current PFL champion. I think if they fought now, I'd definitely go with Vettori. He lost twice to Adesanya, no shame in that. And he lost once to Robert Whittaker, no shame in that at all, right? Literally, everybody he lost to has belts somewhere,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, it's all the elite.
Really, really tough guy. Just beat, Costa his last time out. One thing I'm gonna have to say about Marvin is this, though. I think Marvin is so good everywhere. Brand new team. He's over at Extreme Couture now. I love everything. I love Eric Nixick. I love all those guys over there at Extreme Couture. But he's good at everything, but he's not great at anything, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He doesn't have knockout power. He's not a submission guy. He's just a good, solid fighter. On the other side, so let me ask you about how do you feel about Marvin, in your opinion?
I like him. I was going to pick him in this matchup just because I like him. He's like one of the only Italian fighters in the UFC. So I was like, but I do know what you mean with him being like a gatekeeper in the sense of like, he's had some tough runs. I think he had the opportunity to burst into stardom pretty quick. He had a quick rise, got a little reality check. But I'm hoping to see him win. He likes to stand. He has a very like awkward style. Like it's very like
caveman.
jittery.
Yeah, it is. Jittery is a great way to put it too. He's not smooth at all in his stand up, but he wants to do it. Now, Roman Dolidze, somebody who, I'll be honest with you, didn't really pay attention when he first got into the UFC, had a couple losses, but he went out there and he has knocked out Dawkins, Phil Hawes, and Jack Hermanson in a row. Like, I gotta give respect because all those guys can fight. They're not bums. Does Roman take this and become the new Marvin Vettori of middleweight?
He could. He definitely could. I mean, knocking out those guys, that's legit. And I didn't really know too much about him, but now I think I watched the fight with him and Jack Hermanson, and I remember he's tough. Yeah, I think we'll see if that happens. I'm gonna go with Vettori because gotta go with I still want to see him rise to the top and have the big moment in that weight class and stuff. So I'm gonna go with Vettori.
Betting odds right now, if we're looking at it, Dolidze is a plus 225. Marvin is a minus 265 in this matchup. So Marvin is the favorite in this one. And I'll be honest with you, I think Marvin has fought better competition. I think Marvin has experience.
Yeah.
This fight could be an all-out war. I think Marvin is durable as shit. I mean, Izzy and Robert Whittaker didn't knock him out. Costa didn't knock him out. So I don't see Roman going in here knocking him out either. With that being said, if Roman, you're not going out here knocking people out, I don't know if you're going to win the fight. I have to go with Marvin Vettori and to keep his place as essentially the gatekeeper in that one. It's almost like RDA, right? RDA is that dude at lightweight and that welterweight. If you can get past him, you've earned like your place at the head of the table, right? You're one of those guys that you can legitimately be a title contender if you can get past this dude. I don't see Roman being that guy. Marvin Vettori, I think, definitely gets it done.
Yeah, man, I could see that.
Yeah, but again, I think unanimous decision win in this one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because I mean, Marvin ain't hurting nobody with his hands, and I don't see him submitting anybody either.
The pillow hand, the pillow hand.
A little bit, man, a little bit. He don't, but you know what it is. And I was listening to Adesanya actually talk about it recently, and Adesanya does a great breakdown show now on his channel. But one thing that he was saying about this matchup, he was just like, Marvin pushes his shots a lot. He was like, when you get hit by Marvin, it doesn't feel like anything because he's using his show. He's just pushing. He's like, it's no snap on his shots. It's just like he's just pushing it at you. So when I heard that, I'm like, well, that's why I'm so curious. Dude, Eric, there's only a handful of those Yoda level coaches. You know what I'm talking about? Those Yoda type of coaches. I absolutely believe that Eric Nixick is one of those guys. I'm curious to see how he's over there with Extreme Couture. I mean, he was over there, in Huntington Beach with King's MMA. He was there for the bulk of his career. I want to see this new version of him. Those guys over there with Dewey Cooper and everybody, they do a great job. I'm curious to see what Marvin we're going to see in this matchup.
Yeah, man, me too. I think we're gonna see the best version of him. He's got a lot
I
on the
hope
line
so.
too.
He does. He does, because that's the thing. If he loses this fight, yo, he can cancel Christmas. I
Yeah.
mean, really, it's like they're definitely not going to give you another opportunity. You've
Oh
lost to
yeah,
the
no way.
champ, you're to Adesanya multiple times. You lost to Robert Whitaker. So if you can't get past anybody, like, nah, well, you're back to the back. And honestly, if that happens, you're one loss away from joining Darren Till, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yep.
To be very honest.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Hey, I think he'll pull through. I hope. Oh shit. Are you frozen?
Oh, don't know what happened. Little technical difficulties there for a second, but as soon as we get Paul back on, hopefully we'll get him back on in a second. In terms of, for instance, the rest of the card, like I said before, the rest of the card isn't the most outstanding card in the world, but there are some people that we really should be watching out for. Well, no idea what happened, folks. Thank you guys for sticking with me. Those who have, hopefully, like I said, we'll get Paul back on in a hot second. Thank goodness we covered the entire main card before we had those little technical difficulties. Really fast before I go ahead and close it out for us, I do want to go ahead and talk about the rest of the card and who we should be looking out for as well on here. Because as much as I was saying, I don't think it's a great card, there are still some people that I think are really solid, right? Um, Maikwan Armakani is on this card. He's fighting Jack Shore. That should be a really, really interesting fight at featherweight. Jack Shore, UK dude, ranked number 15, super solid. That one should be great to watch. Another fight on here who I think is somebody at flyweight that might absolutely be a title contender at some point in time. We are talking about Mohamed Mokaev in this fight. He is fighting Rafael Filo. That should be a very good fight, and that is the first on the prelims, early prelims wise. Anything else I want to bring up? Nah, that is Jai Herbert is on this card as well. He's fun. That should be a good one. So all in all, man, this card and everything should be very entertaining. It is it's a UK card, so the energy in the building is going to be off the chain, right? It's going to be an incredibly, entertaining fight there. So it's going to be early card. It starts at where is this? 5 starts at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're over here in the West Coast like me, you can have brunch and watch your fights. It's fantastic. We might even do a breakdown, a post-fight breakdown, because the card is done so early. But with that being said, man, we thank you guys so much for watching us live today with my friend as well, top MMA prospect Paul Capaldo. Each and every time we're doing one of these preview shows. We're going to go ahead and bring him on, and we're going to have a good time breaking down these fights. If you guys see, I am currently wearing one of these wonderful sweatshirts. I'll pull this to this side. These wonderful sweatshirts. You can check it out on our Etsy shop. Etsy.com/shop/the fight pod shop. We have this, and you guys have seen as well. We have some fantastic mugs, t-shirts, everything's champion brand. So go ahead and check that out today. And with that being said, please like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate you guys. Love you, and we will see you next time right here on the Fight Podcast. Peace out.